for the Mohawks. At forward, wearing number 33, a 6'2" junior, Matt Bartell. At forward for the Trojans, wearing number 23, a 6'2" senior, Terry Krell. At forward for the Mohawks, wearing number 53, a 6'11" junior, Brant Perryman. At forward for the Trojans, wearing number 34, a 6'3" junior, Michael Mass. At center for the Mohawks, wearing number 55, a 6'10" senior, Steve Heston. At center for the Trojans, wearing number 54, a 6'4" senior, Andrew Sawyer. At guard for the Mohawks, wearing number 11, a 5'11" junior, Mike Peterson. At guard for the Trojans, wearing number 5, a 5'10" senior, Nick Perry. At guard for the Mohawks, wearing number 21, a 6' junior, Dean Oliver. And at guard for the Trojans, wearing number 20, a 5'9" senior, Jackie Clark. Head coach for Mason City is Bob Horner. Head coach for Iowa City West, Steve Bergman. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce your officials. The referee, Chuck Britton of Waverly. The umpire, Randy Bruntz of Waverly. And the bench official, Bob Oldus of Iowa City. And now,
for Mason City,
let's play basketball.
Their 19th state tournament appearance. Only Davenport Central has been here more, but they've not won it for 53 years since 43. For Iowa City West, their third state tournament appearance. They were winners here in 77. The road to state for Mason City looks this way. Really a couple of lopsided victories and a tight one yesterday.
Yeah, Davenport North game was a great game. Great athletes both ways. Low score. That'll be interesting tonight. If Iowa City West can keep the score low, you'll see a score much like that.
Iowa City West, their tournament trail, lots of low scores, only one above 50.
Right, they're used to that kind of game. That's what they want. They want a low score and a close game.
In the white, the Trojans, Andy Sawyer, number 54 to jump, and Steve Heston, number 55 to jump for the dark-clad Mason City Mohawks. And with that height advantage, it's Mason City on the attack, and Oliver will get the offense going right away for the Mohawks. They work it down low to Harriman, and the rebound is knocked out of bounds by the Trojans.
Boy, 70% shooter right there, and really a good screen by Dean Oliver. Got him wide open. He missed the lay-in.
Mason City 6'11", 6'10", and 6'2 up front. Iowa City West 6'3", 6'2", 6'4 up front.
Ooh, tremendous height disadvantage for Iowa City West.
Oliver works it into the other twin tower, Heston. So both the big guys have had a touch. Both have come up with a miss, but Harriman comes up with a rebound. Here's Peterson in deep, and his pivot foot slides.
Yeah, no trouble.
And it will go over to the Iowa City West Trojans, the fourth seed in the tournament, rated number 4 in the state. Mason City, the second seed, and they are rated number 2.
Tell you what, even though they missed those shots, they got that ball inside awful easy, Larry. So they're not going to let them get it that easy in there. I think they'll start making those shots.
Number 5 is Nick Perry. He buried some big threes yesterday. Hit 3 of them, all crucial for Iowa City West.
Mason City starting in a man-to-man yesterday against Davenport North. They played mostly zone, so maybe they want to get aggressive right away, try to speed up the tempo of the game a little bit in a man-to-man rather than sitting back in the zone.
All season long, they were a full-court pressured team. But Bob Horner said first game at state, he thought with a longer floor, he wanted his team to have some effort and energy left on the offensive end, so they didn't go to the pressure. Harry Crest now backs it up. This is Sawyer. And now Jackie Clark pops it, and he hit some big threes yesterday.
He'll have to tonight.
So no one scores in the first minute 15. Oliver for three. And the rebound taken by Nick Perry.
One thing you have to be careful of when you play a slow team, a slow tempo team, is you don't want to come down and shoot too quickly at the other end after you've worked so hard for defense.
Oliver trying to keep it alive after Bartell comes up with a steal.
Nice pass inside to Harriman.
And a lid on both baskets to start the ball game. Jackie Clark, the 5'9" senior, comes out with a rebound.
Kress was right up there on the boards with the big center for Mason City.
Sawyer tries to keep it alive, but tips it too hard, and Mason City gets it back. Almost 2 minutes have been played, still no score.
But it's tied. It's a close game.
Bob Horner, 10th year head coach, and on the bench for Iowa City West, Steve Bergman in his 6th year. Bartell looking inside. Good look to Peterson, who is open.
Isn't that amazing? Two big guys miss it inside. He gets it in there and really converts a nice basket over a bigger player.
And it's the Mohawks on the board first. Kress guarded by Oliver.
That'll be a good matchup.
Certainly not the last time those two will pair off. When Kress goes on to UNI and Oliver goes on to Iowa, and the interstate rivals continue.
Mason City dropping back in the zone now. Oh, it's in among the towers.
And Sawyer ran into both of them. Got double teamed by 6'10" and 6'11" and lost it.
Yeah, got that shot blocked. He dribbled it first. You can't dribble him amongst the big guys.
Heston battles for the rebound, but it's taken away from him by Jackie Clark. He brought it down, Jim.
Sure did.
Kress fouled in the way in by Mac Bartell. Game's first foul comes against the Mohawks, Bartell, with 5:02 left in this first period. Mason City with a 2-0 lead.
Iowa City West held the ball for over a minute on their first possession and then ended up taking a three-point shot.
Nick Perry inbound. State doubles tennis champion last summer. Now Kress handles it.
Mason City back in the zone. Iowa City West is going to have to hit some outside shots. They're going to have a difficult time getting the ball inside and scoring. There's Clark.
And Clark now has missed a couple of threes. The rebound taken down by Harriman. Harriman overshadowed by Dean Oliver for a while, but not anymore. Suddenly all the Division I coaches know about him.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine two teams could have, or a team could have two major college players on one team, and they do.
Heston in the corner against Michael Mast. Oliver being hounded by Clark. Oliver with that great strength got to the middle and scored anyway.
Boy, he is strong. He is strong. He shot that over Terry Kress, a guy about 4 inches bigger.
And it's a 4-0 Mohawk lead. We're midway through the first quarter. Press against Oliver. Perry trying to shake Peterson. In the middle, it's Andrew Sawyer. Kicks it back out to an open Kress. The rebound by Heston. So far, the outside shot is not falling for the Trojans.
Right, it's not going in.
Peterson misses on the runner. Clark for the rebound. Clark got 3 early rebounds for one of the shorter players on the floor at 5'9".
But Iowa City West is only getting one shot at their end of the floor, and they're not making it.
At the other end, Peterson finishes for the Mohawks. They jump to a 6-0 lead. A media timeout coming shortly, and certainly Steve Bergman on the Iowa City West bench wants it.
Three subs coming in. He's going to try to shake it up a little bit here.
Perry works against Oliver. Trojans without a score. The 5 minutes have already been played. They try to get it inside to Sawyer. He cannot hang on. And now with 2:58 left in the first, there's that media timeout the Trojans have been looking for. Timeout on the floor now. Here's a word from your local station. Jim, we get a look at a replay. Andrew Sawyer's given up 7 inches and 40 pounds to Brant Harriman.
Yeah, he tries to make a move by putting it on the floor in there. You're going to have to make a quick move or throw it back out. You're not going to be able to dribble it in there amongst the Giants.
Field goal shooting thus far. Obviously, Iowa City West still looking for one to go down. Mason City getting plenty of shots, 9 shots.
Also,
first 5 minutes.
Mason City also doubled him in rebounds right now, 8-4.
And the foul called against the Trojans with 2:43 left in this first period. Foul going against Jackie Clark, his first. Inbounding it will be Matt Bartell. For the Trojans, Ryan Hansen, number 40, has come on. Tony Crest, the twin brother of Terry Crest, number 24, is also in the lineup. And Kevin Kirk, who Coach Steve Bergman said would start for a lot of teams in the state, comes off the bench for Iowa City West. He comes in wearing number 44. Mason City ball off the knee of Ryan Hansen. Hansen, the great quarterback on that Trojan football team that won the championship. Iowa City West tried to become the first large school ever to win the state football and basketball title in the same year. A foul away from the ball against Tony Crest. That'll be his first. 2 fouls on West, 1 on Mason City.
Well, they got a problem. How do they play those post players? If they play behind them, they get a foul. If they play in front of them, they lob over the top. Right now, they've been content to play behind them.
Knock it off, you two.
Peterson knocks it inside to Harriman, who knocks it off the glass and down. Brant Harriman with that soft left-handed push makes it 8-0 Mohawks.
Nice penetration.
The outside shot still not falling. Clark with a miss. And the travel called against Matt Bartell.
I would think Harriman has as many rebounds as the whole Iowa City West team does at this point in the game.
For Mason City, Billy Callahan, a 6-foot senior wearing number 23, comes on. He averages 1.4 off the bench for Bob Horner. He takes the place of Matt Bartell. If you're the Trojans, you have to stay with your offensive game plan at this point, right? It's too early to abandon it.
They're not shook up. This is the way they want to play. They just got to figure out a way to make a basket. They're controlling the tempo. I mean, Mason City only has 8 points in 7 minutes.
It's Kirk trying to back down. Harriman gets underneath him and draws a foul on Harriman.
On the back of the 53.
Harriman's first foul. And again, you got Kirk 6'6" against Harriman 6'11".
Yeah, that was a nice job that time on Kirk. Gets inside the defense that time and draws a foul.
Had to make a great effort there. That wasn't easy.
No, that was a difficult move.
Kirk averaging 7.5 off the bench for the Trojans. Gets their first point at 1:42 in the first period.
I think you'll see him in here a lot. They need his size in there.
Rebound taken down by Harriman. Oliver pushes it quickly to the other end and goes all the way to score. Kirk on the foul. Oliver with a chance at a three-point play. And that should excite some Hawkeye fans.
Great body control, but just an outstanding play. We only saw the end of that, and that was good enough, but he made a change of direction, going full speed, and kept his balance.
So Dean Oliver, the junior who committed to the University of Iowa prior to his sophomore year to the free throw line, as Mike King comes into the lineup, replacing Brant Harriman for Mason City.
And Dean's an outstanding free throw shooter also.
86% on the season. He has 5 first quarter points, and it's 11-1 in favor of Mason City.
Here goes Mason City in their full court pressure now, too.
For the tournament, Oliver, 39 points, 7 assists, and 7 steals coming into this game. Terry Crest pushing it ahead, finds his brother Tony on the wing. The first bucket for Iowa City West comes at the 1:22 mark. The 3 by Tony Crest.
The lid is off the basket for Iowa City West. They desperately needed a basket, and they got it.
Second turnover by the Mohawks. Clark looking inside to Kirk. Kirk puts it over Heston and in.
Very difficult shot. High archer over the big guy.
And so a 5-point lead for the Mohawks in the final minute of the first quarter. King trying to set a screen for Peterson, but the steal by Terry Kress. Oh, he hits the layup, and he's fouled by Peterson.
Great defense by Kress. Makes a steal from behind. Goes down the floor full speed with the defensive player on him and is able to convert it and get the foul. This is a difficult layup right here because he gets fouled before he shoots the ball, but he keeps his concentration and is able to make the basket.
The score was 11-1, but the Trojans now have run 7 unanswered points. Kress converts the three-point play. And suddenly, Iowa City West right back in it.
I bet you thought 11-1. Oh, I don't know if this is going to be close or not, did you, Larry?
I was beginning to wonder. Weren't you?
No.
Okay, right. Harriman against Kirk, hits the shot. Kirk gets the foul. Now, you've scouted a lot of high school players. As you look at Harriman, I would think it'd have to be pretty exciting.
He's just a junior. He's good enough right now as a senior to be recruited by a lot of people with his size and his skills, and he's going to have another year of high school. Yeah, he's an outstanding prospect. Really has good soft hands, and when he gets around the basket, he makes them.
And so Harriman with 2 early baskets looks for the three-point play, and the rebound comes out. Oliver had a hand on it. Heston tries to save. Can't do it, and the Trojans have it. A 4-point lead for Mason City as Terry Kress looks at Steve Bergman on the Trojan bench, finds out what he wants his team to run, and then brings the ball ahead.
Mason City back to their zone defense again.
If Iowa City West can convert here, when you consider they were stuck 11-1, this would be a great comeback, and it would have to really get them emotionally in the ball game with some momentum.
Sure. You know, they just didn't give up. They didn't get down. They stayed with their game plan. They played that way all year. They didn't get panicked and start taking bad shots.
Tony Kress has hit 1 3, not this time. Terry going for the rebound as the quarter ends. And that's the end of the first quarter. The score, Mason City 13, Iowa City West 9. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in a moment.
Tender, juicy, great tasting beef. Only the best gets the blue ribbon.
We're very selective.
For one thing, it's got to be grain-fed right here in the Midwest.
We've got to give the consumer what they want.
And they want leaner beef.
We keep the trim down to an 1/8 of an inch or less.
Hey, it's not easy to meet our standards.
Fresh.
Consistent. Quality.
There's not anything in this case that I wouldn't be proud to take home to my own family.
Blue ribbon beef. It's better beef. You be the judge. Only at Hy-Vee.
Everyone seemed to know I had a gambling problem. But me.
I never missed a game. I always had too much money at stake.
My life revolved around gambling. I was never there for my family.
I became so good at lying about my losses. I was even fooling myself.
Family arguments were always about money. The money I was losing.
These people got help. You can too. Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Time to check out excitement on the floor with Fairway's Fan in the Stand, brought to you by Fairway, Iowa's most economical food store. Let's go to John Campbell in the stands.
Thank you, Larry. We're here with Chris Worrell from Iowa City West, and he has some stuff you guys could use for your face maybe sometime. Chris, it looks like the Trojans have their work cut out tonight.
Yeah, but I think they're going to come around in the end. They're a good team, and they always seem to work it out when it comes down to it.
If they can hit some baskets, they can get in this thing.
I think they can. I think they're already in it, though.
Listen, on behalf of Fairway and Gatorade, we want to give you this bag.
Thanks a lot.
You're all set for tomorrow on St. Patrick's, right?
Yes, I am.
All right. There you go, guys. Larry?
Yeah, he doesn't have to wash his face tonight. It'll be very appropriate tomorrow, Jim. And, of course, you'll be sporting the green tomorrow,
That's
right?
That's right. You'll probably see me with a green face tomorrow, too.
Second quarter's underway. Trojans have the ball, and after trailing 11-1, they're back within 4. But Kevin Kirk, who'd come off the bench very effectively, picking up 3 fouls in the first period, and so they can't use him much, if at all, in this second period. Sawyer's going to have to go away now.
Well, Jackie Clark hasn't been in here for quite a while. He's been their key guy in these other games.
Sawyer saves it to Ryan Hansen. Back into the hands of Terry Kress, who will try to run this offense. His coach says he was born to be a point guard. Off the baseline, Sawyer puts it down.
That time Sawyer slipped down the baseline rather than trying to post up the big guys. He slipped down the baseline for that short jumper, about 12-footer. Maybe that's what he's got to look at rather than trying to score inside.
When you're giving up that kind of size, we're talking about 7 inches and 40 pounds, you don't have much of a choice.
Good move.
Harriman, the turnover, Sawyer. And Brent Harriman has got 6 for the Mohawks. Mason City by 4 at 15-11. Tony Kress got Steve Loker into the air, and Loker comes down on top of him, and that's the first foul called on Steve Loker.
Mason City's made their last 5 field goals. They get it inside, boy. I told you those big guys might miss it early, but they're not going to miss many of them in there.
Mason City 14 fouls. Hey. The Trojans 14 fouls. There's Iowa City West coach Steve Bergman. Ryan Hansen and now Terry Kress as the Trojans, 4th ranked in the state, overcoming an early and 11-1 deficit to pull back to within 4.
There's just not a lot of room to operate inside.
And so from the outside, Terry Kress hits his first points.
Boy, he plays under control. He's unselfish. Really gets his head in the game. Good player, smart player.
First points of the second quarter for Kress. 5 points total in the game. Harriman kicks it back outside to Peterson. Now they work it back inside to Harriman, working on Sawyer.
Good job on defense by Sawyer. Held his ground, didn't go for the fakes.
Rolls off for Heston and into the hands of Nick Perry. Iowa City West can take their first lead by scoring. Kress with a skip pass to his brother, Carey. Against the double team. The miss and the ball out of bounds. Last touch by Mason City.
It's just going to be awful difficult to take the ball inside for the shot. You might be able to sneak behind the defense, but to take it in against those big guys is going to be tough.
Nick Perry coming off a 12-point performance yesterday against Jefferson. Inbounds to Tony Kress. Oliver guarding Perry. Kress will take the shot. That's Tony Kress.
Excellent patience that time on Iowa City West, and they end up getting a wide open 3-point shot.
And that is the first lead for the Trojans at 4:58 in the second quarter. Oliver. And a tie ball called, and this will stay in the Mason City end. After an 11-1 lead for Mason City, the Trojans are on a 16-4 run.
Well, that's a way to keep their head in the game.
This is Tony Kress.
Hey! Good balance. Caught the ball, squared up.
Oh, beautiful execution to Oliver.
That looked like a 6'4" guy on that instead of a 5'11" guy.
Yes, it did. Game's tied at 17.
I would think Mason City would like to get this game going a little bit faster to give them more possessions. The more Iowa City controls it, the better it is for Iowa City.
Yeah, good point. Also, Iowa City West would like to get Jackie Clark on track. Clark's got the ball now, and he puts it down. A 3 by Clark, yeah. Well, you knew that they really had to have those points from him like they did yesterday.
Well, early on, they were shooting at 0% from the field, and you knew that wasn't going to go on. Now they're starting to heat it up a little bit, which they're plenty capable of doing from the outside. Here's the ball inside to Heston. Good move inside.
When he catches it there, nobody can stop him, right?
That's tough.
Iowa City West with a 1-point lead. Oliver picking up Perry. Out of the corner, it's Kress. This is Terry Kress.
I think that's 3 threes in a row.
It is.
Iowa City West, 4 in a row.
Tony Kress, Jackie Clark, Terry Kress, all banging home threes, and it's a 4-point lead for Iowa City West.
I think they figured out there's no sense of throwing it in there and trying to shoot it up inside. If you throw it in, throw it back outside for a good shot outside.
Bartell, Peterson, Oliver, Harriman, and Heston on the floor for Mason City. Harriman short on the shot. Jackie Clark with the rebound.
Reach in.
And it's against Matt Bartell. His second, the Mohawks' fifth. Changes for the Trojans. Michael Mast, the starting forward, comes back in. And leaving will be Ryan Hansen. Matt Perry will also get a rest, and in to take his place will be Jackie Clark stays in.
Iowa City's on a 22-8 run with that 11-1 start. They're on a 22-8 run now on Mason City.
Great comeback effort by the Trojans. Terry Kress missing on the three. Mast keeps it alive, though.
That might be their first offensive rebound.
Clark on the miss. And Heston with the rebound. Well, you're right. It's pretty obvious now the Trojans are going to pump up plenty from behind the arc.
They just have to be patient enough to get good shots.
Harriman travels. Fourth turnover against Mason City in this first half, which has 2:34 remaining, and there's a timeout on the floor. Now, here's a word from your local station. With Jim Hallahan and John Campbell, this is Larry Morgan at Veterans Auditorium. Iowa City West with a 4-point lead. We take a look at our Norwest key stats.
Well, 5 for 13 from the three-point line doesn't show that, but that's the big difference right now. Everything else is pretty close. Mason City's 0 for 1 from the three-point line.
Iowa City West Trojans using their defense to score 5 points off the turnover. Mason City does not have any points off turnovers. The penetration by Kress, the dump off to Sawyer, and the rebound taken by Bartell. Peterson gets it to Harriman. Harriman in deep.
Big difference that time. Harriman was moving when he got the ball. Therefore, he had the angle of the defensive player and was able to get to the basket. The last time, he got it standing still, tried to dribble it, and turned it over.
Tony and Terry Kress play catch along the perimeter. Terry with the shot. Offensive rebound by Mast, put right back in his face by Heston. Oliver against the double team, but there's Peterson to help him out. Heston in deep. He is fouled by Mast on the way in. Michael Mast with his first foul. Both teams now with 5 team fouls.
Good offensive rebound here. Looked like he might get another basket. But boy, the big guy's right there. Good block by Heston.
Now Heston catches the inbound feed for the Mohawks, who trail by 2.
I think Heston's close to a 4-point student, too, so he's well aware of what he's supposed to do out there.
Harriman travels. 5th turnover for Mason City. 1:30 to go in the first half. Iowa City West with the ball in a 23-21 lead.
They're in no hurry. Iowa City West likes the tempo of this game. They're very comfortable the way it's going.
Jackie Clark with it. Basically a 3-guard offense used by Iowa City West as Mast tries to get it inside to Sawyer, and it's kicked out of bounds by Bartell.
You know, early in the game, Mason City played man-to-man defense. Now they've been staying in that zone, and they've suffered because of the three-pointers. It'll be interesting to see at halftime if they come back to the man-to-man defense that starts the second half.
And we reach the 1-minute mark in the first half. Mason City up early, 11-1, but the Trojans have come roaring back. Now this game is like the first 3 championship games in this tournament.
Iowa City West so comfortable with moving the ball, not being in a hurry. They're also getting the ball to the corner, and that's the hardest coverage for a zone. The big guy has to go all the way out to cover Kress, and now he drives on him and gets a foul. So it's very smart to get the ball from one corner to the other against a zone defense, makes him move.
First foul on Heston. It's the 6th team foul called against Mason City. Sawyer in the corner, and now they get the ball in the hands of Terry Kress, which is where they want it.
I'm sure they'll be content to take one shot here.
After an 11-1 deficit, to go in with a lead would be very, very impressive for the Trojans.
Well, they don't even have to get a shot off and have a 2-point lead. They got a chance to go up by 5 if they make a 3-pointer, and that would be big at this point in the game.
Iowa City West, the team that got here last year, but they graduated 4 starters. Nobody expected them back, but here they are. Kress on the penetration. Swatted away by Harriman.
Great block.
Bob Horner looks up at the clock for the Mason City bench.
Outstanding block by Harriman. Plenty of time now at 2.9 seconds, though, to get a real good shot if the pass comes into a shooter in a position to shoot the ball.
And one more shooter has been brought into the the Iowa City West lineup as Nick Perry comes in, number 5. The intercept by Peterson, the shot by Peterson off the top of the backboard. And that's the end of the first half. With the score, Iowa City West 23 and Mason City 21. We'll be back at Buckland's Auditorium in just a moment.
Wherever I go, my helpers are always with me. But there's no way I'm taking them to the bank for a home improvement loan. So yesterday, during nap time, I called the Norwest 24-hour Loan Express. Asked a few simple questions, called back in an hour with approval. And this morning, I got this loan check in the mail. There's no easier way to get a loan. And I didn't even have to say, sit still.
Phone today, funds tomorrow.
At 1-800-2-NOWEST.
What if I burn myself? What if the pole breaks?
What if this guy throws a left when I'm expecting a right?
What if I hit my head on the backboard?
What if something happens to my little girl?
What if there were a healthcare organization that covered the U.S. Olympic team, so the only thing our athletes would have to worry about is pursuing their dreams?
What if I fall off the platform?
What if you didn't have to worry about healthcare? Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Iowa.
A 22-8 run by Iowa City West after Mason City opens a 10-1 early lead. And so at the half, a 2-point ball game. Iowa City West with the lead 23-21. Let's go to Mo Kelly.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we'd like to present some awards. We have the Bernie Sago Award of Merit to present, and also the Basketball Hall of Fame. And then a special thing. We have a 50-year reunion that we'd like to mention to you. First of all, the Bernie Sago Award of Merit. Just like his predecessor, Lyle T. Quinn, Bernie Sago, as the executive director of the Iowa High School Athletic Association, has directed that association with great dignity, pride, and great enthusiasm. It's been one of the outstanding athletic organizations in the entire country at the high school level. This is the most prestigious award the Iowa High School Athletic Association gives. And tonight we're going to present this award to 4 educators who have also been great supporters of the interscholastic program. Our first honoree has been the superintendent at Westside Arweva since 1961, has been in education longer than that period of time, and in recent years has been a member of the Board of Control of the Iowa High School Athletic Association, who of course guides the interscholastic programs. So meet our first honoree, the Bernie Sago Award of Merit, to the Superintendent of Schools at Westside Arweva, Robert Nielsen, accompanied by his wife Alice and daughter Jan. Another member of the Board of Control for a period of 9 years is Eldon Pyle, Superintendent of Schools, serving first at LaPorte City, followed by Olwine. That's his current superintendency. Eldon Pyle, accompanied by his wife, Jackie. Robert Burbachek has been in the Cedar Rapids school system almost 40 years as a teacher, coach, and then as an administrator, now retired. Bob also was one of the most respected officials, game officials, that is, in our state, in football, in basketball, and for over 20 years in baseball. Bob Burbachek, accompanied by his wife, Jerry. And finally, another gentleman who has served the schools of Iowa, member schools of the Athletic Association, as a member of the Board of Control for some 7 years. He's been at Gilbert, first as principal, and in most recent years as superintendent. Douglas Williams, accompanied by his wife, Pam. These folks are what make our programs go, folks. How about a big hand for them? Bernie Zago Award of Merit winners. As usual, we have a great group of Hall of Famers to induct this year. A special committee selects former coaches and former great players at the high school level in our state to honor annually at our state tournament. And we have 3 coaches and 5 former players to honor as Hall of Fame inductees this year. Let's begin with the coaches, first of all. And our first inductee before retirement was a teacher coach for some 36 years, had 440 victories as a basketball coach, winning many conference and other tournament titles, named Coach of the Year on several occasions. How about a big hand for Coach Hall of Fame inductee Estill Alexander of Hubbard Radcliffe, accompanied by his wife Thelma. Any of you who have watched our state tournament in recent years have seen this gentleman perform, coaching his team with great success. 8 teams in our state tournament while coaching at Washington High School. One of them a state championship team, and the others finished high in tournament play as well. He's now the coach at Iowa Wesleyan College. Had some 365 wins as a high school coach. Hall of Famer Dave Tremmel, accompanied by his wife, Nancy. On this floor 1 year ago, this gentleman had his last Humboldt team. He coached at Albert City Truesdale to begin with, and then finished up at Humboldt. And at the time he finished his career a year ago with that team in state tournament play here, he had more victories than any other active coach at that time. Over 500 victories. 4 teams in state tournament play during his career. Meet Hall of Fame coach John Westfall of Humboldt, accompanied by his wife, Charmaine. What a lineup of former players. Those of you who have followed high school basketball in our state are going to remember some of these gentlemen as we introduce them to you. First of all, this big fella didn't make it into our state tournament, but he was a great star at Springville High School. Went on after earning all-state recognition to the University of Missouri. Down at the University of Missouri, he was a 2-time All-Big 8 performer. He was most valuable player in the Big 8 tourney and was a great performer, setting school records in various categories. Later had a 4-year career in the NBA with the Detroit Pistons. How about a big hand for Hall of Famer from Springville, Al Eberhard, accompanied by his wife, Cindy, his daughter, Christina, and his son, Tony. Here's a great tournament story. It's got to be one of the greatest stories in tournament history. Back in 1946, Lamars was leading Iowa City High with about a minute remaining in the ball game by 5 points. Our next Hall of Famer made 3 buckets in that final minute of play to bring his team back from a 5-point deficit to the state championship. He, of course, was an all-stater. He led the Mississippi Valley Conference in scoring a couple of times during his high school career. Later was a 3-year letterman at the State University of Iowa. Iowa City High Hall of Famer Bob Freeman, accompanied by his wife, Marion. Every once in a while, a great player is cut down by injuries. And that perhaps is what happened here, because Chris Kern at Des Moines Lincoln was truly a great player who had his career shortened by knee injuries. In high school, as a sophomore, he was a super sub. He never started a ball game, but came off the bench on a fine Lincoln team that only lost twice in 22 games. He led the team in scoring and rebounding, although he never started a game. As a junior, he led a team to a state championship, an undefeated team to a state championship. And as a senior, he continued his great play with more honors, including, of course, all state honors. He went to Drake University, was a starter as a freshman. It looked like he was going to go on to an even greater collegiate career, but then the old injury bugaboo hit. Knee injury so bad that he had to call it a career. We're happy to have him with us this evening. Came back from California to be here. Former Des Moines Lincoln star Chris Kern, accompanied by his wife, Deborah. Next up, remember those great Iowa City Regina teams. This young man was the leader of a couple of those state championship Regina teams. Made the all-tournament team twice, as a matter of fact, on those championship teams. He later went to the State University of Iowa and played on a Big Ten championship team at Iowa under Lute Olson. Was a great baseball player as well. As a matter of fact, good enough not only to play for the University of Iowa, but with the Montreal Expos farm system for a period of time. He's now a high school coach at Davenport Assumption. Hall of Famer, great Iowa City Regina player, Randy Norton, accompanied by his wife, Claire. And our next Hall of Famer had a great career, kind of an unusual career. Brought a Sioux Center team to the state tournament in the early 50s as an all-stater, not only in basketball, but in baseball as well, an outstanding baseball player. He went on to the University of Nebraska and was good enough there to earn a basketball letter. But then he wanted to get into the veterinary medical school at Iowa State, so he transferred. He had to sit out a year there, but then earned a couple of letters as a Cyclone basketball player. He also came back from California to be with us this evening. We're happy to introduce you to this Hall of Famer from Sioux Center, Jerry Sandbolt, accompanied by his wife, Mary. Well, we told you about that great 1946 championship game, the come from behind, one of the greatest in state tournament history. Guess what? That group decided to have a 50-year reunion, and they're here this evening to celebrate that championship back in 1946. We already introduced you to Bob Freeman as a Hall of Famer. And here's the rest of that squad, and we're very happy that so many of them were able to be with us this evening. Let's introduce them. The coach of that team was Gil Wilson. Here are the members of that squad: Bob Krall, Jim Van Dusen,
Jim Sangster, Harry Dean, Jerry Cannon, Kirk Carson, Dale Stark, Bob Oldus, and Evan Smith, the 50-year champions, Iowa City High. Thank you very much for your attention.
We're at the 4A championship game with Iowa City West leading Mason City 23-21. This is the second championship game tonight of this final night of the tournament, and Jim Waters and the employees of Hy-Vee Food Stores in Sioux Center would like to congratulate Hull Western Christian on their win to become the Division 3A champions. Hy-Vee is a proud sponsor of high school athletics. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in a moment after this pause for station identification.